The streets of Braam were slippery in the icy season that plagued July. Bandile holds me close, hunching his shoulders, pulling me tightly towards him, absorbing my warmth like a steaming cup of coffee, dissolving a spoon of sugar. His eyes struggle to stay open, but with his ears so close to the ground, the hymns of the city keep his mind awake.
Ekta,
His body untangles from mine as he scrambles to the whistle, a sound that means money. I wait and wait and wait for him to return. It must be so cold. I shuffle, restless for him to come back. And he pulled away, like a truck being pulled up in a tornado. And in the wind. The wind carried me, not a gentle lift, but a furious hand, wrenching me from the corner where I had lain. I spun through the night, past doors of shops with students queuing to get their food, past the lampposts flickering, as though they too were afraid of the dark. The city blurred, hot streets, buzzing lights, shadow and sky. I was nothing more than a piece of cloth in a storm, a forgotten rag at the mercy of the streets of Braam. For a moment, I brushed the branches of a jacaranda tree. They clawed at me, purple petals still clinging from last season. Brittle now, fragile as old promises. It clung, shivering in the branches. Dawn broke. Below, voice. Low, shaking, words scattered like ashes.
Cold. Too cold. If God had any grace, the cold would take me away today.
You could call it serendipity or coincidence, but in that moment, the wind gave in, and the jacaranda loosened its grip. I fell, not with grace, but with hope. Hope. Such a dangerous thing on the streets. It keeps you alive, yet kills you slowly.
A gift. Who leaves gifts on nights like these? At least something good came my way today.
He held me like one holds a secret, close and careful. His hands were cracked, the skin split like it had never met affection. His breath rose in clouds, dissolving before the street light. He looked at me for a long time, as though wondering whether I had been saved. By fate, by some cruel joke of the city. Maybe he was wondering when I would disappear. Then the expression in his eyes changed, from suspicion to gratitude. I became more than a rag in the wind. I'm still a rag, just one with a purpose. And we were. Themba takes me to his office, the traffic light on Jarson Street. Here he waits for a few seconds between red, yellow, and green lights to ask for humanity from strangers.
Sorry, bro. No change today. God bless you, sir.
Most people don't even look. I understand why. Looking means seeing, and seeing means acknowledging the failure of everything they were told would work. By afternoon, Themba has collected me. 30 rand? Enough for a meal, not enough for shelter. The math of poverty is simple. There's never enough.
Okay, 60. 28 rand. Not bad for a Tuesday.
Not bad. This is what hope looks like when your dreams have been systematically denied for decades. 28 Rand becomes a victory when the alternative is not. His walk had rhythm, not the rhythm of confidence, but of rituals, as though he had traced this path 1,000 afternoons before. Always the same route, always the same start. He stopped before the man at the corner of Holy Trinity Catholic Church, a statue who sleeps on a bench, covered in its permanent blanket of bronze, feet exposed with their crucifixion wounds. Jesus the homeless, they call it. Themba looked at him in a way that personified the bronze man, and he spoke.
You again. My old friend. Still laying here, still colder than I am.
The statue listened as it always had, unjudging. Themba leaned closer, and his words poured into me, into his old friend, into the air.
You know, I used to have a house in Soweto. Had a wife, 2 children, built furniture with these hands. The factory closed in 2020. COVID, they said. Economy, they said. The banks took the house, wife took the children. She told me to get clean first, come back when I was whole. I'm dead to my sister. And maybe that's for the better. Because then, I don't have to explain my shame. I don't have to explain that Katia Street Shelter, my home, my only home, closed down last year, spitting me back out to dirt, hunger, and a system that contradicts itself. Where they've built walls between rich and poor. Where the system is designed by people with homes, for people with homes. To get housing, you need to prove you already have housing. ID? No. Proof of address? No. Affidavit? No. I have no address. To get help, you need to prove you don't need help. Come back when you have all the documents, they say. Catch-22 written in political language. My language? Please. Please.
He paused, pressing me closer, as though I might absorb the memory. The statue's silence provided solace, but I swear, in the stillness, it seemed to lean closer. Around us, the city carried on. Students rushing back to res, taxi drivers shouting into the night, engines coughing, doors slamming. Music spilling from all corners, and the smell of weed filling the air. And between it all, shadows. Men washing faces in puddles, women folding themselves into cardboard, chasing dreams in stolen sleep, and children playing hide and seek with hunger until their laughter wore thin. Braamfontein, a patchwork of color and noise, stitched together with the threads of survival.
Man, I'm thinking of my friend Vusi right now. He'd worked at a center cleaning the showers for other homeless people. And he said something that stuck with me, eh? He said, if I carry on staying in the streets, I will die a meaningless death just like my father. Vusi learned that death on the street is always meaningless, always violent. Will my death be violent? Will you be there to hold me? I wonder who held Vusi.
He laughed then. Not the laugh of joy, but the laugh of someone bargaining with silence. I tightened around him, as though the cloth would become comfort, as though I could give him a home. The night pressed down heavier, thick and heavy like a slab of concrete. Themba stepped slow, his breath became shallow. Below the statue man, water glimmered in a pothole. He knelt, cupped it in his hands, and drank. It tasted of iron, of dust, of neglect. But it was water. He coughed, the sound scraped through the silence. Then he kept walking, because that was all he could do. Later, when the city's noise dulled to whispers, Themba arrived at the entrance of the Wits Art Museum, a home for all intents and purposes. His belongings, cardboard boxes stacked in place of a bed, sat waiting for him. He laid down, his head cold on the concrete, and he looked up at the stars. He pulled me tighter, every fold a desperate plea. The ground was stone, the air knives. I could cover him, but I could not keep the cold from sinking into his bones. He whispered one last time, not to the statue, not to me, not even to the stars, only to himself.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe never. I started applying for jobs last month and still nothing. And we graduate so soon.
They walked past us like we were ghosts, like we chose this. The city stirred awake, stretching, yawning, honking. Students rushed with steaming cups. Shopkeepers opened their doors ready for the day. Taxis groaned awake, swallowing passengers whole. The statue slept as it always did. The jacaranda swayed. And Themba did not move. I stayed, holding on tight. Draped over him,
Don't let me go.
he whispered. And he went, not with purpose, but with violent mercy. A witness, a rag, a final shroud.
Another homeless death. Natural causes, looks like.
Probably pneumonia. They never seek treatment early enough. Huh. Natural causes. As if poverty is natural. As if homelessness is a natural disaster. As if dying on the streets is inevitable. What is a promise if it never leaves a page? What is a roof if it only covers words? They said there would be homes. They said there would be security. But here, in the heart of the city, a man lay beneath the sky, and the sky offered him nothing but silence. I am only a blanket. I can't cure pneumonia. My comfort can't substitute medicine. I am threadbare, torn, forgotten. But I remember him. His name was Themba, meaning hope in Zulu. Though hope abandoned him a long time ago. I know this because I've carried many like him. The stories are always different, always the same. I've draped around beaten bodies, comforted women whose possessions were burned, covered children as their mothers may have. And this morning, as another body takes shelter under my weight, I will remember Themba's breath against me. His hands cracked and tired, his steps across the Braamfontein stone. I feel lighter somehow, not because his weight is gone, but because another story has ended. And I will whisper into the night, though no one listens, there shall be homes, there shall be security, there shall be comfort. One day, maybe, never.
There shall be houses, security, and comfort, they said in Kliptown, Soweto. 70 years ago, the Freedom Charter promised homes for all. But many like Themba found new forms of displacement. No jobs, no housing, no suburbs built for people like him. Instead, the country lost him in a sea of statistics. Stats SA published that there are 55,719 homeless living in South Africa, 4 times more than in 1996 when democracy promised change. Gauteng recording the biggest share of homeless people, 46%. Of this, males accounted for 70.1%, youth and adults for 44 and 45% respectively, and children and elderly 5% and 7% respectively.
2 years after the end of apartheid, in December of 1996, the Constitution of South Africa adopted many of the demands of the Freedom Charter. The right to adequate housing is written in Section 26 of the Bill of Rights of the Constitution.
Yet, the homeless live between 1955's promises and 2025's failures.
Each carrying a neglected piece of the Freedom Charter.
You've been listening to The Charter That Sleeps on Stone, an episode of the We Should Be Writing podcast. This podcast is a product of the Honours in Journalism and Media Studies program at the Wits Centre for Journalism in Johannesburg. Our producers, voice actors, and hosts were Ekta and Lukholo Mazibuko. Our editor, Katleho Makutle. Our theme music was composed by Lula Mapie and Sichapa Molete, and our graphic design was by Ekta and Anganati Jack. Additional music credits and info are available in our show notes. On all social media, we are at Wits Vuvuzela, and you can see more of our work on witsvuvuzela.com.